Hey YouTube, it's James from the Wyvern Watch here, just with another deck profile. This one's one of the more competitive decks, so this one is my Invoked Dogmatika deck, as you will have been able to tell from the title. As you'll see, I don't include any Shaddoll cards in this one. This is a bit more of a pure Dogmatika deck, but obviously with a Invoked engine as well. The reason why I built it is because they're all spellcasters. I generally like spellcasters, and the artwork's just phenomenal. So without further ado, let's just show you the first card, which of course is Ecclesia. Most of you are probably fairly familiar with what these cards do, but primarily when normal or special summoned, Ecclesia will search any Dogmatika card from deck to hand. What also comes up occasionally is that she can't be destroyed by any monster summoned from the extra deck as well. So that does come in handy, if you've got it in handy, if it's in defense position up against an opposition, you're just trying to stall for that extra turn. But yeah, absolutely, it's the first opener that you need, ideally in your hand straight away. But if summoned via the effects of Titaniclad, which we'll get to that later, we'd special summon this, and that would then ensure that we've got the next card in hand, which is Fleur de Lis. So Fleur de Lis, again, phenomenal looking card, I think. But this one, when special summoned, whilst obviously can be special summoned while there's an extra deck monster on the field anyway, but if there's another Dogmatika card on my side of the field when summoned, it will also negate the effects of one of my opponent's monsters, which again can be done on the opponent's turn, which is a great interruption. Another one that will be special summoned by just sending a extra deck monster from graveyard to banished. We can special summon Maximus. People will be familiar with this one because this is the one where we can send two cards from my extra deck to the graveyard and obviously force my opponent to do the same. Whereas our extra deck is full of cards that of course will react in the graveyard. Theirs hopefully won't be, so we can get some pluses off that. But again, it's a great big booty at 3000 defense as well, so again that comes in handy. Next card isn't normally played in Dogmatika deck, but I like it, which is Dogmatika Aidin. Again, can't be destroyed by opponents' extra deck monsters. But also when it is destroyed by a battle or card effect, I can special summon special summon the, oh no, I ain't got where it one's between special summon from the extra deck. Hang on a second, I'm sure it's from the field, this one. Special summon for the extra deck. Special summon Dogmatika monster from my deck. That's the one I was looking for. Yeah. So it's the final effect on Dogmatika Aidin. So if it does get destroyed, I can special summon one from the deck, and obviously if we'd not already used it, we'd use the effect of Ecclesia at that point. That's for the Dogmatika cards. We've now got some additional support, and of course we are playing Alistair the Invoker, with it being an Invoked package. So most people will know what that one does, but obviously our normal summon, which of course we do first before we activate all our Dogmatika effects, it will go for Invocation. I also play the one Irish Sword Soul, which is obviously a recent addition, but this can be special summoned when my opponent's got a negated a monster that's effects are negated, which of course Fleur de Lis does with ease. So we're also playing Infinite Impermanence in this one, which will of course negate the effects, so we can always use it off that as well. So there's a few things that will negate effects. So this one's easily summonable, but at the moment it's just the one-off. We're just testing, of course. Hand traps, we are playing Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring at 3, and we're also playing Ghost Bell and Haunted Mansion at 3. These can obviously be sided out depending on the matchup, but I'm finding actually Ghost Bell current format to be super effective really, and people don't expect it. So at the moment it's certainly in the main, and obviously we can change that out later if we need to. On to spells then. We've got the one terraforming, which of course will search out the next three, which is a magical meltdown, which if you don't know that one, that does on activation, it will add an Alistair from deck to hand. We're also playing a Harpy's Feather Duster, because it's too good not to play in my opinion. We're playing a Call by the Grave to negate some hand traps ideally. We're playing 2 Pot of Desires, we know what that one does. We're playing 2 Forbidden Droplet, which if you don't know, that's the one that will discard any number of cards to negate the effects of that many face-up monsters on the field. Again, which will work with Irish Sword Soul as well. We're also playing 2 Cosmic Cyclone, but of course these can be sided out if not appropriate, but I like them in the main deck. We're of course playing the 2 Invocation, and last spell is Nadir Servant, of course, which will obviously sending an extra deck monster to the graveyard, which hopefully we're then plussing, but then adding 1 Dogmatika monster from deck to hand. On to traps, only the 2 traps, but we've got 3 copies of Infinite Impermanence. I suppose we could call that the third hand trap. And of course, Dogmatika Punishment, to again sending a monster to the extra deck, but also destroying 1 card on the field. That's it for the main deck. So quite an in-depth Dogmatika deck, I like to think anyway. But it will be different from other people's builds. So happy to hit comments about the ratios, etc. And where I probably could go better, but without adding the Shadowll stuff, because I'm just not interested in that. I don't want to add a third sort of archetype to it if I can help it. Onto the extra deck then. So obviously some of these are just designed to go straight to the graveyard, but we are playing 2 Titanic Lad of the Ash Dragon. Rarely summoned itself, but of course it's there. If it's sent to the graveyard during the end phase, we can then add or special summon a Dogmatika monster. So that's why it's there. That can obviously trigger the Ecclesia effect and adding Fleur de Lis to your hand. And running 1 5-headed dragon. That's just to make sure we've got enough tack points to get over anything using Maximus effect. 1 Fossil Warrior, because that, when sent to the graveyard, can activate its effect to destroy 1 monster on the field. We're also got 2 Elder Entity Unts, which of course when sent to the graveyard can destroy 1 card on the field. Then onto the Invoked stuff, so we've got 2 Macabre, 1 I can never pronounce that, but Orgades or something like that. The 1 Purgatrio, which does actually come up fairly commonly. Caliga as well at the moment, but not so much. We don't tend not to play it too much. 1 Sign Frame Lord Omega, just to bring back any resource I need. And then using the Alistair, we also have the Salaman Great Almirage, 1 Secure Gardener, and of course 1 Artemis, the Moon Maiden. So that's the extra deck. That's the whole deck. Thank you very much indeed. Like I say, happy to hear some comments on how I can potentially improve that. I like the build, I like the deck. Like I say, it's one of my favourites, and probably my most competitive at the moment. It seems to be doing okay in testing, but like I say, if you're happy with it, if you like it, if you like the ideas I've come up with, please do comment and like. Love a subscribe. Appreciate this is a fledgling channel, but all the support is welcome. Listen, thank you very much for tuning in, guys, and I'll see you next time. Thanks a lot.